Good afternoon. As you might know, I have started to put out some reports that the Office of Inspector General publicizes on the internet. And we don't normally see them very much in regular newspaper media or elsewhere, only because they're maybe considered small beans or whatever. But I wanted to draw your attention to a part of the Social Security Administration website that concerns Social Security fraud, because they give you a set of examples of what could be fraud, but they also qualify it with a couple things. So, they start out specifying that fraud involves obtaining something of value through willful misrepresentation. So right there, it's got to be willful. That's important because if it's accidental, it's not really willful. And to be fraud, there's got to be that intent, generally speaking, in the criminal law arena. They go on to say that in the context of the Social Security programs, fraud would exist when a person fails to disclose a material fact, so not an immaterial fact, but a material fact for use in getting benefits and payments. And they specify that the information is material when it could influence their determination on entitlement or eligibility to benefits under the Social Security Act. So if it's never going to make a difference in whether someone becomes entitled or eligible for benefits under Social Security, then it's not material, according to that phrase right there. So here's what the examples are. Some are going to be really obvious. Making false statements on claims. We always have to be truthful, accurate, and responsive. But if you're not going to be terribly responsive, you don't want to be inaccurate or say something blatantly false. Concealing facts or events that affect eligibility for benefits. That would be probably something that's black and white, like you're working full-time while you're claiming to be disabled, because that's a black and white. If you deny you're working full-time and you're working full-time, that would be really bad. Or, technically, if you're working at all, that's even 5 hours a month, that would be something that you want to report. Misusing benefits. And then they in parentheses note that it's by a representative payee. So, an individual can't necessarily misuse his benefits in a way that would be fraud. But the representative payee, which is what we have when we are unable to handle our funds ourselves, or the SSA has so deemed it, there would be another person. Sometimes it's a trusted family member. Other times it's an institutional representative payee when the person doesn't have a trusted family member that could control their monies and make sure their bills are paid for them. There are times, and you're going to see in some of the reportings, that a representative payee has spent the disabled person's or retired person's Social Security monies or SSI funds. So that is a super big bad no. Failing to notify the agency of the death of a beneficiary and continuing to receive the deceased person's benefits. I mean, this is one of the bad acts that come up a lot in the news items that we're reporting on. People just have a hard time shutting off the spigot when the disabled or retired person passes away, and they continue to collect the money on their behalf and spend it on themselves. Really bad. Buying or selling Social Security cards, it's kind of an obvious one, right? Can't do it. Filing claims under another person's Social Security number. That's probably an identity theft as well as Social Security fraud. Scamming people by impersonating our employees, it says. So anyone who's pretending to be a Social Security employee is using that impersonation to scam somebody out of something, really, really bad. And you could go to jail. Bribing their employees. Don't bribe them to get a win. Don't bribe them to fluff something. Just don't bribe them. Don't even try. Of course, if the employee takes a bribe, they're obviously going to be in deep, dark doo-doo as well. And the last example they gave is misusing grant or contract funds. Not really sure what that's going to. Social Security fraud. I don't know. But anyway, they listed it. So there's got to be something to that. Anyway, I just wanted to give you those quick examples. You'll see, if you happen to get into listening to some of the reports, that it all tends to be these things that I'm looking at right here. And I see a lot of the ones about continuing to receive our dead loved ones' benefits and not reporting them as having passed. Okay, that one seems to be very common, probably because it's an act of omission and they don't have to actually do too much at first. They just have to pretend the person didn't die and go about their merry way. And the money starts coming to the account, and next thing you know. So, but eventually they tend to get caught because somehow the death does get reported eventually, or the dead person doesn't show up if they have a meeting with the SSA or something like that. Sometimes in the meantime, the person who has been stealing the money has been filling out reports and, like forging the dead person's signature, for redeterminations and things like that. Anyway, I hope that informed you a little bit of what could be fraud. And, if you see it out and about, I mean, I know we're not necessarily the fraud police, as we go about our lives, but there's nothing really wrong with reporting someone is committing fraud. Not in a vengeful way, but just because they shouldn't be taking it. It's someone else's money, right? All right. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later.